Hello. So, as was mentioned, I'm Nikki Francis, and I am officially an Industry Liaison Coordinator at the London College of Communication. And essentially that means that I contact the creative industry on behalf of the college, and I facilitate opportunities for collaboration and knowledge exchange with the industry so that we are linking with the companies that we eventually want our graduates to go into. I'm also an animation student here at CSM. I'm doing my MA, as was mentioned, and I feel that being a student and an industry liaison coordinator in a visual kind of area, in a visual medium, means that I can think what I would like to happen as a student and kind of implement that for the students that we work with at LCC. So I've kind of got a dual element going on. The courses that I work with at LCC are, as you can see, the animation course, which is kind of traditional animation. Then we've got 3D computer animation, visual effects, virtual reality, and the BA virtual reality, which I'll talk about in just a second, will be launching in 2019. So it's just been validated and it will be coming up very soon. And these disciplines all collaborate with each other more and more as companies start to expand to offer the virtual reality, as that's what we're talking mostly about today, and just generally offer a wider range of services. So all of these courses, they do collaborations within the university, and then if you think about these areas within the industry, they also collaborate. So we're very lucky at the college to be able to offer an experience of collaboration to the students so they can have knowledge of how to work with these different disciplines going forward. So our focus for building these courses is to be engaged with the conversation about diversity and inclusion within the industry. We feel that this is really important, especially because virtual reality is so young and new and hasn't had the chance to be ingrained with all the what we could call problems that the creative industry has and has had for a very long time. It's new and we can really impact it from the very beginning in terms of diversity and inclusion. We also interact with the industry and organizations on a regular basis, like I said, to stay current and make sure that what we teach is up to date, and it helps us to mold the language and the next generation of this technology. So I'll talk a little bit about the BA in virtual reality. Essentially, the students start in the first year with an introduction to theory, the technical side of things, and creative elements of virtual reality. I've had a conversation recently about why is it virtual reality, and we call it virtual reality, but essentially the course is overarching on anything immersive. So students can come in, do mixed reality, augmented reality, anything that's come about by the time this course starts in 2019, which is not unlikely considering the pace that things are moving with this new tech. But just for argument's sake, we're calling it virtual reality. So they create content when they engage with all these different aspects. So they constantly are making new things, and in the context of curating, I think this is important. In the context of archiving data, I think this is important. These students are constantly making new things that they may be relevant, they may be not, but it's worth noting, I think. And then in their second and third year, they revisit these different elements, but more in depth each time, so that when they graduate, they have a comprehensive portfolio across lots of different areas, and hopefully will soar as graduates. The MA Virtual Reality started in October 2018, so it's very new, but we've got our first cohort, it's very exciting. And they focus on the development of immersive experiences, both creatively and critically. As it is an MA, there's a critical element, they have to write a thesis. And we have a diverse group of students from varying backgrounds, especially as it was the first year of an MA without a BA VR to kind of feed into it. So I have no reason to believe it's a bad thing at all. There are so many different backgrounds within the class, and it means that you get input from a really diverse range of backgrounds, and I really think that feeds in to the class and working with your peers who have different knowledge. So with the research pathways on this course, you're looking at games, 3D animation, 360 film, and augmented and mixed reality. And we prepare the students to tell stories with the help of tools that range from 360 cameras to augmented reality platforms like the HoloLens and high-spec headsets. So we worked really hard when setting up this course to make sure that the students had the technical resources that they needed so they could explore and experiment as much as they wanted. We also have a really great technical support team at LCC. And there are some very interesting projects that are coming out from just allowing experimentation and free thought within the students. And the nice thing about being at university is you don't have those money constraints that I feel the industry has. You don't have to justify why you're doing something to investors or whoever it may be. And I think that also being in a university today, doing this talk, I think it's relevant. There's a huge amount of freedom and creativity that you get for students, and I think that's invaluable. And I think it will help to shape the industry as we go on. So the course supports the progression, thinking about further on than the MA, to research at PhD level, as well as advanced self-directed experimental practice, building on LCC's resources in digital, time-based and interactive media alongside media studies, graphic design and visual communication. The course encourages an experimental and reflective practice that echoes the cross-media nature of the design, communication and media industries. That sounded like a mouthful, I'm sorry. And then after an MA, we're looking at the careers that we can offer our students and taking that into account when we are kind of forming what we're up to. So our graduates can go into numerous career paths, and the fact that VR is so widespread these days means that it is unlimited, and by the time they graduate in a year's time, it will be even bigger than it is now. And so you could think about gaming, but also journalism, performance, filmmaking, design, user experience, education, and treatment and care. And this means that the nature of the content created at LCC is as broad as these subjects. There are some amazing pieces that are being made now by industry professionals across all of these sectors and that have a huge impact. Education is massive, treatment and care, like in the medical industry, is having a very positive impact on society. We also concentrate a lot on industry links within the college, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. So the collaborative practice is also really central to how we try and build the course. The students engage with clients and professionals throughout the course in response to industry briefs that we design alongside the industry to make sure that they're relevant, and with the support of the industry so that we build connections and those benefit our students when they come to graduate. It gives them a greater understanding of how the industry works and how to build those connections. And this external-oriented perspective puts our graduates at a relevant position to the industry as it's rapidly changing. So if we stuck with the same thing every year, next year our students would be on a course that was behind. So we need to keep up with that, and that's what we really try and do. And talking about data and archiving today in this kind of context, I was talking with some people at LCC, and it came out that we really don't have a sort of overall college archiving system for the students' work. And there's so many pieces being made. And this is outside of the kind of gallery context that you're in charge of. So this is sort of everything that students make. There is no college-wide way to gather it all up and keep it. So it's the responsibility of the students to do that, and we really encourage them to create master copies of their work and archive them. But we do have a render and storage project, which has developed through the creation of our 3D animation and VFX courses, which also started in October 2019. And it's a first point of exploration on a wider conversation about how we use complex data within the colleges and how we manage and train our students to use complex data.